Okay, hi guys. Hello, mothers. I got my lightning bolts up today because this is appropriate. We are talking about slashing negativity, resentment, and what? Frustration. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And you're going to like what I'm going to explain about this because it puts the ball in your court and puts the power in your hands. There is nothing that you cannot change, rearrange, reorganize, revamp, and upgrade about your life. There is nothing that you cannot upgrade or change. I'm going to make sure we're on. Are we on? I see someone here. Yay, Lori's here. Who else is in the house? Tell me if you're here. Awesome. If you can hear me. If you like the lightning bolts, or if you would prefer a different background, what is it? I want to know. I'll look for it in the filters. I almost chose one that had a rainbow crown. Super cool. Maybe I'll do that next time. There's a rainbow crown, and it sits right here. I was kind of in the mood for that one, but I'm going with lightning bolts because we're just putting on the wristbands to harness our inner light warrior. All right. Okay, good. You're mostly hearing your kids who are crazy in the background. So how many of you, when you watch this, I want you to tell me below, are you, let's do a number scale. Where are you on the number scale of coping with having kids at home? I'm here for you. I'm checking in with you. I want to know how you're doing. This is an emotional, mental health check-in, a wellness check-in. How are you doing? Scale of 1 to 4. We're keeping it tight. Scale of 1 to 4. 4 is I'm doing the best I could possibly be doing right now. Life is good. We're in flow. It's not perfect, but I feel good about it. 1 is it sucks. It's the worst that it's been in a while, and I'm feeling really stuck. And then you know the difference. 2 and 3. So where are you? 4. Good as it can be, considering 1, the pits. I'm really struggling. All right, so tell me, and Lori, you hit the jackpot because you've got help still watching your kids. I know a few of you who do. The rest of us are mashing it up with kids at home and work and partnership. And what we're finding and hearing is that, and what I'm hearing from you is that, oh, Lori, yeah, rock on. What I'm finding and hearing from people is that all of the things you kind of had been like just dealing with on the weekends are now here all week long. And when I say dealing with, I mean like when the family's all together at once, we experience kind of all of our unfinished business and the places where we still have yet to grow, and it's easier to not look at that stuff and to stuff it down and eat sugar and drink wine instead. But we're experiencing that like in the waking hours on a daily basis now, and I'm seeing memes and mom groups and there's humor about it, and I'm all about the humor and all about laughing at life to diffuse the tension. But what's under that is painful, and I do know that too. There's so much pain underneath the joking around about how hard it is, and the reality is when you do the thing to get to the other side of that pain, coronavirus hits, and instead of being whacked by it or feeling off center or feeling like there's just a lot out of control, you go deep into gratitude because you can see and feel that, oh wow, I do not feel like everyone else does around me. I can see what's really beautiful in my life, and I know what I have control over and what's mine and what's not mine, and I can control my state and really dig deep into, grow roots into a feeling of stability and a feeling of peace and gratitude and calm right now. So I'm going to tell you today about where negativity, frustration, and resentment come from. And I'm gonna break down with you. If you're just joining now, say hi. And thanks for saying hi, Laura. Awesome. Awesome. And tell me where you are on the scale of surviving to thriving. 4 This is a 1 to 4 scale. We're keeping it tight. 4 is I am doing as good as I could possibly be doing, considering. So I feel I'm doing well. I'm happy with where I am. 1 is I'm struggling, I'm stuck, or it's worse than it normally is, and or 2 or 3 in between. So please participate. If you're here, I'm going to ask you to participate. If you are just watching and lurking, then I want to invite you into an experience where you engage so that you really are giving in and getting back. It's the only way to receive, you guys. It's the only way to receive. You got to show up for you. So what I'm going to do for you today is to really just bust a few myths and then let you know what does not work for sure. And this is a part of the myth busting. Like often mainstream thinking is not really what we need to be doing and focusing on. So I will explain that piece. And then I'm going to give you a look into what is on the other side. What happens when you truly do overcome that big hurdle of what is causing your anxiety, of what is creating your overwhelm, of what's causing the negativity, of what's feeding the frustration, okay? We're gonna look at what happens when you do succeed in moving that, when you do succeed in getting to the other side of that, and what it's like to live there. And I wanna give you that, I wanna plant those seeds, and I want to give you that vision so that you can start to cultivate and nurture that for yourself. You guys, you have to know where you're headed. You have to know if you want things to change, if you want to move out of the way it's always been since having kids, then you have to know where you were going. You have to have some kind of vision for what you want it to look like and feel like. Otherwise, you're just recreating the same level of frustration and dealing with it on a daily basis. You're just manifesting the same lack of cooperation from your kids, or the same kind of frustrating what's the word? Clashing power struggles. Okay, do you get that? So you have to have something new that you're moving toward, and I want to give you a glimpse at that today so that you can nail it down for yourself. So stay to the end because you want to be able to do that piece with me. So we're going to begin with, most people think that I feel annoyed, I feel frustrated, I feel at my wit's end because these things are the way they are. That's how we think about it. So it would be something like, if that was different, then I could relax. If my child wasn't so needy or demanding, then this would be easier. All right, so we could make a certain amount of arguments that is true, or maybe that holds truth. Or maybe if I had a better job and was paid more and money wasn't such an issue, then maybe we'd have more freedom in our lives. We could travel more, we could then we would enjoy each other more. Then we would be able to relax more because we wouldn't be so stressed about money. Is this ringing bells? Do you ever catch yourself thinking these things? These are very disempowered thoughts, you guys. Really disempowered thoughts. When we catch ourselves thinking something like, if I worked from home, or if we had more money, or if then we would be able to enjoy life, that is completely limiting thinking. Those kinds of thoughts keep us from having any real impact and power to change our situation. Okay, you got it so far? Are you with me? Shoot me a thumbs up. Tell me if it makes sense. Some of you are saying hi and I love you and I know all of you. And then those people who don't know me are here incognito. So reveal yourself and say hello. Show up and get the help that you need. There is a massive distinction between people who show up and people who lurk. And I can guarantee you that the people who've shown up to my live Zoom calls, these are not people who pay me or who have ever paid me. They're not clients. They're just people who are showing up to say, I need help, I'm asking for help, and they engage. Thanks for the thumbs ups. They engage. I guarantee you their experience is above and beyond anyone who's ever sat quietly on the live, just watching from a dark corner. So yes, I'm calling you out today because I have lightning bolts around me, and it's time. It's time to step up. It's time to step into your light. It's time to say, I want more, and this isn't enough, and I need to engage and come out of the shadows, all right? So
The thing that most people miss in that kind of like conventional thinking that I was talking about is that the frustration, resentment, negativity cycles, those loops that we get caught into. Oh my God, the laundry. Oh my God, no one ever does the dishes. How could I be the only one who sees this? And does he or she or do they not see all that I'm doing? I feel so unappreciated. I have deep wounds about that. I feel so alone. That creates massive depression, massive anxiety. But I want to say something about this. The root cause of frustration, resentment, and negativity, all negative thinking, negative feelings, is the same thing that's creating the anxiety. So when you see negativity showing up a lot in your life, it's because you have anxiety fueling all of that. Okay, there are deep wounds underneath. There are beliefs that result in feeling uncomfortable in your skin, in your life, in your body, that result in doubting yourself, that result in questioning yourself and your ability to be an amazing human mother, living your purpose, shining your light. When we have those wobbles, and we all do because we grew up with imperfect parents, and a lot of them were doing the best that they could, but we have gaps in our self-awareness. We have gaps in our belief in ourselves. We have gaps in knowing who the heck we are. A lot of us walking around having no idea who we authentically are. And we all have gifts. We all have gifts to give. We all have an authentic self to get to know. We all have a part of us. Spirit of life breathes through every one of us, beats our heart and breathes life through us. So we all have that. We all have that in common. We all have those gifts, but not all of us claim that. Not all of us really believe it, that we are worthy of our bliss, of our joy. So anxiety, that is like the not knowing who we are really and how strong we are, is what's fueling the negativity and the resentment. Okay, are you with me on that part so far? You all got this that are listening. So it sounds like I should be able to do all this better. Should be able to do this myself, or the other way. They should be helping more. They should be showing up. So blaming others or blaming ourselves. Okay. So what does not work to eliminate negativity or resentment? What doesn't work? I'm going to start there. What doesn't work, and I'm going to just name a few things. There are many, but to keep it simple and in the essence of time, distracting ourselves from the problem. How often do we do this? What are some ways you distract yourself or have in the past from how rotten you feel inside, from how anxious you are, how angry you are, how resentment you feel, how resentful you feel? I have a little video bomber friend here. How do you distract yourself? So drop in the chat. Lori. Lori's dropping in numbers. Don't drop in numbers, Lori. Stay at your 4. It's hard to go into these places of looking at what our unfinished business is, and it can drop us from a 4 to a 3 momentarily, but hold your ground. Hold your ground. Okay, reading the news. Yeah. Scrolling the news feed. Oh, what are they doing? Oh, then that brings up comparing. Oh, then that brings up, oh my God, what am I not doing? I'm less than. Oh my God, I'm such a F up. I can't even cope with life. And look at these people doing all the most amazing things we're not going to do. Right. How about drinking half a bottle of wine at night? How about eating sugar to numb out, to give yourself that brain fog, to induce that state of dissociation, because it's the only way you know how to pull the plug. How about just watching a little Netflix, just queuing up some Netflix? I'm just going to entertain myself. You guys, since I started going deeper into my spiritual practice and tuning in, I almost never have a desire or a need or whatever you want to call it to turn on anything, much less eat sugar. It's gone. It's been gone for years. All I want to do is build my visions and dreams and live them, and dance. That's it. So where are you numbing out? It doesn't work. And so there are a lot of clinicians who would say, use what you can. Be nice to yourself, right? Be nice to yourself. And this was even a piece of my training, like, it's okay to distract yourself sometimes. And I might even say that now on occasion. It's okay to, if you're going through some serious deep grief, you're so overwhelmed with fear that you just need to hit the pause button, and you don't know how otherwise. You just don't have any tools and skills for being safe in your body. First of all, book a call with me and learn how to become safe in your body. But second of all, momentary distractions just to take you out of what's going to build into an immediate panic. Okay, I got that. But on a daily, ongoing dependency basis, distracting ourselves so that we don't have to face what we feel definitely makes the problem grow. It feeds the problem and makes it worse. It is not a solution. It is not even a Band-Aid. It really isn't. So trying not to think about it results in our body talking to us more. And I mean, how many of you, raise your hand if you have like chronic pain in your body or an autoimmune condition? Any of you have that? That's when the body is saying, hello, I've been taking this load and carrying it for so long, and I don't know how to carry it forward for you, and I need you to start taking ownership, upgrading your skill set so that we don't have to do this, so that we can just release this energy that is clogging all of the channels and winding up in the physical realm, winding up in disease, winding up as pain in the body, which is the body saying help. You know, the body is really, and my body is a great help to me in this way. Do you see that positive frame? My body is a great help to me in this way. When I am ignoring something and avoiding processing something, avoiding accepting, moving through the stages of something, or forgiving something that I don't want to admit, I have a few different places in my body that start talking to me. Pelvic area, front and back, psoas, so from the C-section, from my first birth, and a particular spot that is vulnerable, that I haven't healed yet completely, on my neck, in between the neck and shoulder. And I know what those mean. Okay, yeah, excellent. So you guys are feeling your body tension, migraines and dizziness. That's a huge one, Tara, that has come up for so many clients before they came to work with me. Dizziness, head spinning, shaking, feeling like they're gonna faint, and then all the medical tests come back clear. These are panic attacks, heart palpitations. So many of my clients have experienced that before. We experience these from anxiety, from emotions and energy that we have not learned how to feel and move through. And there's a misperception often that, like, I'm scared to feel, or I don't know how to feel because if I do, it's gonna put me under. And the opposite is true. The exact opposite is true. When we get good at allowing feelings, we get mastery over letting them cycle through, and then refocusing, choosing, lining up with our intention, lining up the head and the heart. Boom, that stuff does not stick. It does not stick. We just move right through it. So excellent. These comments are so excellent. Thank you for showing up and for naming these examples. Okay, so the body talks to us when we don't get to the root cause of the anxiety. Got it? Another thing that doesn't work that I see people doing is processing feelings. So processing meaning talking through how they feel, which instead of creating solutions, creates often conflict, like fighting with your partner when you try to do it with a partner or a family member. It will lead to drama. It will escalate the feelings of being out of control because you cannot get the other person to see it your way. You cannot convince your child, no matter how long you lecture or threaten. You just cannot get someone else to see it your way. Have you noticed this? Have you been on the side of trying to delve out that wisdom or convince someone of how they should see something, right? And they don't. They just don't. Damn them. They don't get it. And, I've been down that path. Oh, I have been down that path. And believe me, I know that the temptation is there, although I have been healed of much of that urge, thank God, as I've grown spiritually through the years. But my nature is very much like just a dog with a bone. Like, let me explain. I want you to know, and I want you to know I'm right. How many times do we get so justified and so righteous like that? One, it drains all of your energy. Two, it's from ego. So you're not going to get the result you're wanting. There's no joy in it. There's no upliftment. There's no lightness. There's no play. There's no fun. There is no calm in that. It's tug of war. And the energy is negative. It creates a lot of negative spiral. Yeah, I know in the moment I'm acting crazy, but I don't know how not to keep fighting for my point. And that's what that kind of processing does. It puts us in that, like in the wedge, it wedges us in between the rock and the hard place where we can't even get out. We observe, and I've been there many times, observe the crazy. I go, stop yelling. Remember, and I don't, well, knock on wood, this hasn't happened to me in a long time, but I'm human and feelings get the best of me just like they do you. I can remember those patterns in the past where I would, from over here, see myself or hear myself getting angry, getting out of control, wanting to move into lecturing or pressure or whatever the thing is, the energy of resisting, just accepting what is and opening up to new possibilities. Resisting how, and really it's not resisting the situation, it's resisting how we feel inside of us. Do you get that? So resisting our own feeling, our own thoughts that are hard to sit with and be with. Okay, so when we're in that place, we don't have any real and actual control over ourselves. And that's important to note. We don't have actual control over ourselves if we're in that place. Well, if I just can explain my side of it, if I just can convince, then, but no, we know it doesn't work. We'll stop fooling ourselves, right? The third thing that really doesn't work that I see ambitious, successful, overachiever, perfectionist moms doing, if that's you, raise your hand, is trying to force the outcome. And what I mean by that is I'm just going to not accept the way this is, and I'm just going to override the circumstance, and I'm just going to push harder and try harder, and I'm going to engage my willpower from that solar plexus. I'm just going to say, this is the way it is. So this is very much a part of the way that when I am in constriction or fear mode, that I want to approach life. It's a knee-jerk reaction to, oh, hell no, that's not going to work. That's not going to happen. I'm just going to double down. I'm just going to go harder. I'm just going to push more from ego or body, from the physical. It is a disconnect between the head and the heart. It's literally like you just pulling the plug. You have no access to your larger perspective. You have no access to your emotional self when you're in that realm. So can you think of an example of any time or like aspect of your life where you just are trying to muscle through, push through? Maybe parenting, maybe your work right now, just trying to get it done, not taking your needs into consideration or others' needs into consideration. Do you ever feel like that? Drop it in the comments. I'm curious to know. What other ways might we push through the tired? So when we're living from an anxious place, we feel exhausted. Our energy is drained. We're disconnected from our wisdom. So life is messy. It's inefficient. It's unproductive. it's productive in moments at best, but then things that we've been able to achieve will unravel because everything's at that kind of that baseline of stress, of chaos. Does that feel, is there anything you want to add to that? Anything that I'm missing in there? Okay. A way that I see moms forcing and trying to push through is in doing all the things. So there's a voice internally that some of us have that we got from our mothers that says, I should just be able to do all of this, or I should just be able to do it better. I don't need help. I don't know how to accept help. The help would be bad anyway, and then it would just create more work for me. Story, 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 story. All of it hurting us, working against us. So if you have a story like that, and give me a shout in the comments if that rings a bell. So it sounds something like, yeah, there's a great example. I'm spinning my wheels but not getting anywhere. Like, this should be working better than it is. Or, there's just not enough of me. You guys still hear me and see me. My connection was going in and out. Or it might sound like, no matter what I do, it's never enough. That is such a crappy feeling. Duh. Just connect with it. That's obviously one of my old ones. When I feel that, I could just feel my mood tanking. Well, there's not enough of me to go around, obviously. So what does that mean? Like, that means like you're doomed to fail. If you've got that story running, you're doomed to fail, and you're going to see all the ways that you are not able to keep up, right? You're also, oh, I just missed all the comments. Hold on, guys. No, they just don't come back. Okay, you guys comment again. Let me see. Oh, it came back. Yay. Hi, Sarah. I'm so glad you're here. Okay. I got distracted there. Let me focus. You're also not going to receive help. And by that, and you're like, but no one's offering. Of course, no one is going to offer. If you're running a story that says there's not enough for me to go around, I gotta do it all myself, or nobody helps me, that's what you get. Nobody helps you, there's not enough for you to go around, and people are unhappy, and you're unhappy. Okay, the stories we tell result in the lives we live. And so, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. A partner can't show up and respond because there's nothing new for them to respond to. So they can't respond differently. And then you go, but they should know. They should be able to. What is wrong with him or her? What is the matter? So you can do all that. But what's the energy of that? It's toxic. It's negative. And who's it hurting the most? It's hurting me. It's hurting you. And then the kids come next. And then the marriage. So we have to think. We have to think really intentionally about what we mean to be creating so that we're not creating the opposite. Because most people are creating the opposite of what they want. With some good little bits thrown in that sort of arrive magically. Because you don't know how it happened. You don't know how you got that lucky on that aspect. Because there's no process for you. Right? So we have to be willing, and this is the game changer piece, we have to be willing to see that our way is not working. We got to be willing to see it. We have to be willing to see it and admit it. My way is not working to achieve the outcome I want, to yield the results in my life, in my children, in my marriage that I want, in me, in my career path, in my bank account, in my living my purpose, whatever your thing is. In my mood, in my health, in my level of wellness, in my vitality. We have to be willing to see and admit if and when the way that we're doing things isn't working to give us the results we want. It's the biggest part of the message today. Because you are in charge. Unless you're not living intentionally, unless you're working from old system, old paradigm, in which case it's going to feel like chaos because your hand isn't on the wheel. You know what I mean? So it's a tough pill to swallow and to humble ourselves with to go, what I'm doing isn't working anymore. But it is pivotal to being able to change your situation. It's a pivotal part of the process because help can't come in until we do that part for ourselves. And nobody can do it for us, you know. I can say, you guys, it doesn't change anything for you. We have to decide it. We have free will. We have to choose it in our own hearts. I want my life to look different. I want my life to look different. I am willing to see this differently. I am willing to open to resources or whatever the thing is. All right, so it's a mental shift from, my life is so effed up, I must be failing. You guys, please get this. This is a big mental shift that I'm offering you from living in a life that's dominated by anxiety and all the things that produces, like negativity and frustration. The core piece of this, the mental shift, is from seeing your life as not how you want it, your relationships feeling exhausting or unfulfilling, your body feeling exhausted, you feeling depleted by this life you created and wanted to be beautiful and have been investing your whole self in. Looking at that and going, this is not at all what I meant to create. What is wrong with me? I must be a failure. That's what most people are doing. If you're so bold to be vulnerable and raise your hand and tell me if that's what you've ever done, I would love to hear. Most people will feel this somewhere near the rock bottom. When you see it, when you're willing to go, this is not what I wanted, and this must mean that I'm missing something, or I'm messing it up. Okay, so we make meaning about that, and we decide that it must be our fault. Or you blame someone else and you go, I married a narcissist, and so it's that person's fault that I'm the way I am. But that won't get you anywhere either. You got to come into ownership of what in you attracted that, what in you wanted that. So from seeing it that way to the new way you have to be willing to see it, which is, it sounds something like, the meaning I'm going to make of my life feeling like chaos or drama or unfulfilling, or me feeling unfulfilled, instead of going, I'm a failure, I'm going to look at that and go, this must mean that I need better skills. That's it. Borrow my belief on this one. Borrow my character trait. It is now a character trait because I've practiced this belief a lot. Borrow this from me. Look at your life and go, if it's not, parenting is a mess, your kids don't listen, or you just feel like you're about to boil over all the time, look around and see what it is, and see that it sucks, and tune in and feel that what you don't like about it. You have to do that piece first. You have to. No one can save you or help you to jump over that place. You gotta be like, this isn't what I want. I'm willing to shift from seeing this as my failure to, I need a new skill set. I am lacking the life tools for this level, this phase of development. You know, we hire a midwife or a doula or a doctor for a birth of our children. We do that because we understand there are things we don't know. And we want to succeed in a new field. We go to school and we learn from the experts. We pay them money to teach us what we don't know. And then we succeed in our career venture. We land in motherhood with a 6 and an 8-year-old or a 3 and 5-year-old and beat ourselves up, not having any education, any formal training, any practice on how to handle and grow relationships, how to create a healthy family, how to be mentally and emotionally healthy ourselves as mom, how to balance a relationship, how to create equality. And we go, I'm failing. Think about that for a minute. What are we doing to ourselves? At what point do we look around and go, this is a skill issue? I do not have the skill set that I need in order to transcend old patterning, old stuckness and limitations that are showing up now as exhaustion, that are showing up now as marital conflict, that are showing up now. It is not a reflection of who you are. It is not a statement about your worth and value. It just isn't. Every single one of you is beautiful. Every one of you is worthy of love, of joy. Every one of you is worthy of that feeling of lightness. Every one of you. And I want to make sure that I say that because it can be hard to dip into this place of what isn't working and oh my God, and we go down the rabbit hole of oh my God. But we don't have to stay there. We don't have to stay there. Be willing to see it differently. Be willing to see that the life you've created is going to reflect to you now where you need to or want to up level. It's really that simple. There's no more meaning to make of it and no more analysis needed. When we go to analyze our problems to couples therapy, what happens? We're dredging up relationship dynamics that are painful because still nobody individually has done the work yet. Think about that. We're just focusing on the problem. When we feel depleted in motherhood, it is a gap in our learning and in our skills. If you have not yet invested in building that vision of you, meaning, we're going to talk about it in a second, get clear on what you want, if not this, if not where you are right now. What do you want to be different? How do you want to feel that's different? We're going to talk about that. If you've not yet done that piece, then guaranteed you're waffling and wallowing in the dark because you have no focal point. So the I should know how to do this or because I don't, I'm XYZ, those are traps. Those are traps and there's nothing there for you. Just go ahead and torch them now. It's not going to serve you. So I want to shift into here's what's happening for some of the most amazing souls on the planet who I know and love and care about so deeply, who have said yes to working on themselves, who have said yes to shifting the focus from what's not working to what they want to build and create. And these are some of my beautiful clients who've come to work with me and have completely transformed their lives and transcended old wounds and reworked what was not working in their lives. And the results are so beautiful. This is a time when, like right now on the planet, I'm not talking about clients who went through Awakened Motherhood a year ago, but these are women who right now are upgrading and up-leveling how they think about themselves in the world, how they see themselves in the world, how they relate to their kids, and how they invest in themselves and their marriage. And what it's giving them back is so, so rich. And your life will reward you and thank you with so much abundance when you choose to put you in the focal point. Not the negativity, not the problem, but you, your relationship with you. And so some of the things that are happening as clients remove and release what was at the root of the cause of pervasive anxiety, of that had them tipping into overwhelm. A few of the beautiful things. One, partners are waking up. Partners of my clients who are not involved in the process, who some of them know nothing about what their wives are going through, are working on, are waking up to their own light. And what I mean is they're helping out more. They're offering to support more. They're noticing their partners and they're curious about what is this new life that is breathing through them. You know what happens when you have kids and you're so distracted with the kids, and then you're distracted by the problems, and you're worried about the finances, and then you're the whole thing, and you're just in the mud, and you forget how wonderful the other person is, or you can't even believe you ever thought they were wonderful because they're just so flippin' annoying. You get stuck in that space, in the energy of all that is not working, and you cannot force your way out of that. you have to come into love yourself. And as you do, then your light comes on. And then guess what happens? Reciprocal action. So your children will love you up. Your partner will pay attention to himself in new ways or herself in new ways. How many of us wish that our partners would work on themselves? A little show of hands here. How many in this group that hear this wish that their partners would do a little more internal sifting and sorting, a little more aligning, a little more focus on themselves or their health or their mental, see if I can get you guys, here you go, I was missing your comments, or their mental health or physical health. Sorry you guys, I was missing comments. Perfect. Awesome. Thanks, Ashley. Just seeing your comments now. Yeah, and Tara, seeing your comments too. No me left. Yeah, we disappear, we dissolve into the vibe of chaos. We just disappear and dissolve into the vibe of chaos. And then we just wish that someone would either save us and pull us out, or that they would change to make life easier. And neither of those are realistic, and neither of those are the solution. And as much as I wish I had some other news, then you have to decide for yourself that is the one way that we change our lives. We have to decide for ourselves. We don't want to suffer anymore. We don't want to struggle anymore. And I spoke to a mom yesterday who had a barrier in her thinking, had a belief in her thinking. She wanted to invest in her, but she had this idea if she invested in her, then she was going to take something away from the kids. And it is the exact opposite. It is the exact opposite. When I take care of me, my kids are bliss. They're in bliss. They're just so in their light because they are nurtured, because they are loved, because I see them that way. Then they have it. Because I hold them in that light. Otherwise, I'm just annoyed, irritated, frustrated, seeing what's not done, seeing where they didn't do what I asked them to do. But if I'm taking care of me and I'm seeing them in light, you better believe they're picking up their socks and dishes. It happened. The connection, that's the connection. How we see them, how we feel about us. That's how they feel about them. Okay? So, hi Marty. Marty says it's difficult when both are not on the same page. So that's a story. It's hard because we're on a different page. Okay, I'm not denying that there's a problem. There's a problem. If I'm on a different page from my partner, then that's something I could call a problem. That's something I could call a barrier to my happiness. But I'm never going to do that, because then the potential for change is resting in someone else's hands, and I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to sacrifice my happiness or my level of fulfillment in life. I'm just not willing to. Because someone else isn't growing. You know, screw that. I get to determine that. Life responds to me. My marriage responds to me too. Also, by the way. But I first have to get myself clear. I got to take care of me. I got to invest in me. Doesn't matter if he sees it, if he values it. It doesn't matter. I have many a story, which I've shared with my clients that we've giggled about. In the early days of me prioritizing me, when I still had two very little ones, and my husband was really not seeing it, not understanding what I was doing, not valuing this, not enjoying this, all the things, just wanted things to be the way they were before, or how he kind of, just by default was envisioning it, which came from his family of origin. And there was a lot of stepping through the discomfort as I began to push forward into owning what I needed. And there were times when, and I got clear about my vision. I got clear about I was going to build it no matter what, whether they came with me or they didn't come with me, whether he got on board or not. I was going to build my vision for my family, for my kids, and for my marriage. whether he came with me or not. I just got determined I was going to do that. And then I opened to what that meant and what resources I needed that I was missing and what skills I needed to build that I was missing. And I found my best mentors and expert coaches, and I resourced them and I invested in them. And as I did, things began to change. And as I committed to me, things began to change. But in the beginning, he didn't see it. And there was a certain amount of minimizing. You know, he's a beautiful person. You have seen him here walking behind me in the windows. My husband's amazing and a beautiful human. And it's absolutely like nothing against him, for we all have limitations, but he just didn't see it. And I had to see it. I had to own it 150% so that I could stay true to it and keep going. It didn't matter if he didn't see why I was locking myself in a room to meditate every morning and why he now had to take over certain parts of the day that I'd been holding. It didn't matter that he didn't get it, why I was going into debt to spend money on experts and coaches. It didn't matter. It couldn't matter. Do you get that piece? It couldn't matter because I cared about me and my future and my kids enough that I took a stand for that. Do you guys get that? Does that make sense? If I let someone else's doubt become my doubt, I would be in the pit of depression and despair right now, years after I walked out. So, the two sides of the coin. One, life gets hard and we can contract or constrict. Contraction is embracing myself. I'm scared. I'm just gonna withdraw. I'm just gonna withdraw. I gotta go quiet. I'm not gonna ask for anything. I'm just gonna suck it up. You guys know that does not last. That doesn't work. You cannot do it. You'd be living for two people instead of just yourself, which is exhausting, right? Exactly, Marty. Exactly. You got it. That's right. When you try to live, when you accept someone else's doubt as your own truth, when you put out your light because someone else doubts you or doesn't get your vision or doesn't get your needs or see the value in them, you got to choose for yourself. You got to choose. Am I going to live for that person or am I going to live for me? And there is no both. There is no doing both. And you can love your husband. You can respect your husband. You can give thanks for your husband. You can be grateful for your husband. I'm using the husband as the example here, but you know what I mean. Or your kids. But there are things that need to change there and up level. And until we decide to do it, it's not going to get done. Right? So we can constrict. There's no access to fun there. There's no living in your light. There's negativity, frustration, and anger and resentment. That's what constriction is. Living in fear, afraid to change, afraid to prioritize me, afraid to claim my needs and my rights as a human, as a mother, with the ultimate sacrifices that we make to give life and birth to humans and then grow them and doing all the things we do for them. So, like, really think about that and shift the way you've been seeing it. The flip side of constriction is expansive. Expanded meaning relaxed, confident, clear, and connected to my wisdom, flowing in that, naming my truth, saying what I need, receiving it. So magnetizing myself for the love, for the appreciation, for the respect. Mutual respect going both ways. No more conflict, no more power struggle. There is no need for that when you're living for you. There's mutual respect, there's fun, there's flirtation, there's silliness, there's connection, deep connection. Deep connection. Yeah, Laura, I'm seeing your comment now. Yeah, including if you doubt yourself, you can turn down your own light based on your own beliefs. Exactly. The same is true. We can borrow someone else's doubt and adopt that, or we can go into our own, which is from family of origin, from our parents. We didn't create most of it. We did not, unless you're living intentionally, you're not creating your life now anyway. But for those of us who are taking daily action, who are following the processes, who are walking the walk and taking the steps every day to apply the processes of thinking in a focused way, of living with intention, of tuning in, of taking care of our nervous system, of living in alignment with our heart and our mind, of building the vision, feeling it, and flowing in gratitude. Those of us who are doing the work to clear those messy roots, to clear what's causing and creating the anxiety, and instead plant seeds that are growing more abundance. So just a wealth of connection in your relationships, a wealth of overflow in terms of all you need. All you need is given, and you're so supported. And if I could say the thing that I think is more true than anything else other than you are worthy, it is there's so much divine love, protection here for us as mothers, ready to meet you when you step out. So if you at all are feeling stuck, if you at all are feeling lost, if you at all are struggling in anxiety or struggling in overwhelm, why are you waiting in that place for more? Why are you staying in that? What is the belief? What is in the way? What has you believing this is as good as it can get? Because I'm living proof, and so are all of my clients, that we can get ourselves out of whatever mess we're in if we are committed. It is not for everyone. It is not for everyone. You have to be committed to changing your situation, meaning you got to be willing to get resourceful. You understand that to experience transformative change in your life and go from a life dominated by negativity or anxiety to a life dominated by joy, that's a big leap. But the work is not complex. The work is straightforward and simple. But we have to take consistent action. You have to be willing enough to commit to show up and to do what I tell you to do. And then you can get there like anyone else has gotten there. But granted, it isn't for everyone. So if you're listening and this is ringing bells and you're going, why am I staying stuck in where I am? I just need to suffer more. Then, and I've been there, I just needed to really go deep into the hole. But for some of you, you're ready to come out of the hole. You're ready. Don't hesitate to take action, to have a conversation. Book a call with me and we will talk about where you are, and I will be so honest and direct with you about whether or not I can help you and whether or not I believe you are a fit for our work together. And if you are at a phase where you're just kind of beginning to contemplate change, then you're not going to be ready for our work together. But I'm still happy to talk to you and love on you. So take me up on it. It's a free call, 45 minutes to an hour of me loving on you to help you get so clear about where you are, why you're stuck where you are, and what's not working. And then we look at what are you wanting to create instead. And I will help you build that vision of lightness, of joy, of your kids looking at you like, I love you so much, Mom, and saying things that my clients hear their kids say, like, this is the best life ever. This is the life. My kids, my family were saying that the other day. I posted on Facebook. It's just so precious to hear those words, and you created that. You co-created that with God and abundance in the universe, and it's here and you're living it because you decided to say yes, because you decided to show up and take a chance on you, right? And surrender and step into faith that it can be better. Unhook from fear and hook up to faith. So Marty's saying, afraid of not being good or smart enough, afraid of having to prove to me, having it proved to me if I try. So this is a great example of the way that fear comes up and stands in our path, and we never get past it. We never rock around it because we'll stare at that for the rest of our days. We'll stare at that fear of, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not dedicated enough, I won't be able to figure it out. And I just want to say to your heart, from my heart to yours, I would never, never, never invite anyone, I would never lie to anyone, I would never mislead anyone, I would never invite anyone to create deep change in their lives unless I was fully certain that you could do the work. And that's for many, many reasons. It's most of all because just out of love. It's also out of integrity. It's also out of, I could not have a thriving business if I just let anybody in, or if I led people to think they could create change when really they couldn't. So I'm very cautious and very careful about giving you the right next step for you. It may mean that we're a match when we talk about working together, or it may mean that there's an interim step and do this, and then let's check in about that. Do this and then come back to me. Or we work together for a little bit through email, and it's there's a couple steps that you need to kind of overcome before you're ready for transformation. And so I'm not sure if that's exactly answers your question, but that fear is so evil, and it will keep you from ever realizing how much beauty there is that's here for you. It will keep you from claiming the joy and the love that are meant for you in this lifetime as a mom, as a woman. And so you get to have that, but only if you're willing to acknowledge what you've done. This is so beautiful. You're doing beautiful work right now, by the way, just to name and acknowledge that fear, because when we name it and acknowledge it, it immediately loses power over us. So it's really it's a wise action that you've just taken to put this in writing. So we're afraid of things like I'll just learn I'm a failure. I'll just learn there's nothing that can help me or nothing that can work for me. And I can't tell you how many clients have worked with me that came in with that belief trailing them. And they said, I'm going to put my eggs in your basket because I'm just going to trust. And that's the thing. Like, you got to be willing at some point to go, you have more expertise than I do. So I'm going to accept that my knowledge is limited in how much I can see about where I am and what I'm capable of. So I'm going to choose to trust. I'm going to choose to trust that you see something in me that I can't see or access right now. That's a huge piece of being willing to see life differently, of being willing to see ourselves and our situation differently. When we are willing to believe that someone else with expertise and experience beyond ours can help us, we've taken our first step. We've taken our first step of removing that investment in fear and moving the investment to faith, to belief in something better. You guys have other comments for me? I love seeing these so much. Thank you for sharing from the heart, and thank you for showing up. And if you are watching this back, feel free to leave your comments. If you're watching the replay, I will come back and answer comments as well. The main message today is be willing to see where you are differently. Be willing to dump that old story that is meaning making around you as a failure or something won't work for you. You can't do it. It's just absolute bullshit lies, and you're so much better than that. And this is a thing that's held women back for so long. I just give the big middle finger. Like, that's just not true. It's not true. You got to step into a new belief that says, there is more for me here, and I'm the one deciding. I call the shot. So if I'm deciding it's too scary and I can't do it, then I can't do it. I won't ever do it. I won't know what's on the other side. But if I go, hey, I'm going to take a chance and believe that there's more for me here. Like, I actually get to have a marriage that's fulfilling, that's balanced, that's beautiful. I get to have a homeschooling daddy. He's hands-on homeschooling daddy. I manifested that. So I'm here with you guys. Miracles are everywhere, and they're waiting for you to step into your power so that you can create them for you and for your family. Okay, got it? Got it. Thank you so much for all the hearts, for the likes. If this is helpful to you, tell me how so. I want to hear that at the end in the comments. Tell me how so. How is it helpful for you? And encourage you to make a commitment to yourself. Take action. I'll put the call link here. Just chat with me. We'll chat about it. I never. There's zero pressure. There's zero trying, you know, like you won't get on a call with me and do anything other than feel support and feel heard and gain clarity. And sometimes what we discover is that what I'm doing is a perfect match for you, in which case, if it is, I'll tell you that, and then I can tell you how we do it and how I work with other mothers to help them out of the darkness and into freedom, claiming their freedom. Thanks, Marty. Awesome. Thanks for joining today. And all of you, so much love. Take a stand for you. Don't hesitate to book a call with me and take a stand for you that way if you feel guided to do so. And look forward to talking with you one-to-one. Okay? Mwah. Lots of love.